adds a point to his championship lead over Anthony Martin. That makes it a whopping 3-point margin that the Brazilian currently maintains over the Australian. Our front row is set and ready to go. Let's talk to him here for a moment. Victor Franzoni, ready to go, scored the pole in qualifying. Victor, it's been a very busy 7 days. The win in St. Louis, the pole this morning. You have 2 races left to lock up the championship, but only a 3-point lead over Anthony. What's your mindset going into race number 11 of the year?
So I'm here to win. Have a great Junko's Racing did an amazing job again. I really loved this track the year, and I'm ready to win, and I'm gonna do everything to win and take this championship home.
Now, Watkins Glen is a fast-flowing, over 3-mile-long road course. It has a lot of similarities to Road America. Now, at Road America, you and Anthony had a pretty physical battle out on track that saw some bent bodywork and maybe some hurt feelings. Are you expecting another physical race like you two had at Road America this weekend?
No, I'm expecting to just go and try to win the race. That's our plan. So that's for what we work to, and it's what we're gonna try to do. Just start, enjoy every single lap, and try to just come to the checkered flag.
All right, and then I want to touch on finally, this championship would mean a scholarship check from Mazda, which would put you in the Indy Lights championship field next year, the top level of the Mazda Road to Indy. You're a young man that started the year not knowing if you'd even have the budget to finish USF 2000. Your team, Juncos Racing, put you in the Pro Mazda car, and you're sitting here 1 weekend away from a possible champ and a seat in Indy Lights next year. What's this year been like for you mentally? How stressful, and also how much fun has it been?
It's been really nice. This whole season I'm learning some stuff that I never thought I would learn in my life. I'm learning how to be in the front in a championship, and it's been really nice. It's been awesome for me. Now I'm not thinking too much about the money and Indy Lights and everything. I'm thinking just about this race, and then tomorrow I'm gonna think about the next race. And well, let's check. But the year's been amazing. Again, it's been my 4th season in the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, and it's been amazing.
All right, Victor Franzoni starting on the pole position here. You have a 3-point lead. Best of luck in round number 11 today. We'll see you when it's over.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Victor Franzoni, your pole sitter for this race. Now we're going to walk back just 1 car length to his championship rival. He starts second on the front row here today, and it's the Australian Anthony Martin. Now, Anthony, Victor says he's not thinking about Indy Lights. He's not thinking about the championship, and he's not thinking about the money. What are you thinking about right now?
Winning this race?
That's a good answer. Can you win this race?
Yeah, for sure. The Cape Motorsport guys have given me a great car all weekend. We've just given it a bit of fine-tuning, and I think we'll be right there for the race.
All right, now you come into this weekend and this season with the Soul Red colors on your Pro Mazda entry, of course signifying that you are the reigning champion and the recipient of a scholarship check after winning USF 2000 last year in a really great fight with your Cape Motorsports teammate Parker Thompson last season. You know what the pressure's like to win the championship. Your family has all traveled from Australia. They're here. What kind of pressure are you feeling knowing that you're chasing that guy and it's up to you to change things?
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure. Obviously, there is the championship on the line, but it's just like every other race that we've had this year. You know, it's always been switching backwards and forwards, and I'm just going to approach it like another race and do my best to win it.
All right, and then I think a lot of folks here that are watching the IndyCar race this weekend, you know, they need to know, why should they care about Mazda Road to Indy racing if the explanations that, you know, we provide them in the booth aren't enough? As a driver, as a young man who came here from the other side of the world to compete in this series, in this championship, what's the point? Why should IndyCar fans care about Mazda Road to Indy racing?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, the Mazda Road to Indy literally gives a pathway for young guys wanting to go up to IndyCar, the ultimate pinnacle of American racing. And back in Australia, you know, I had nowhere to go, and that's when I decided to come over here and give it a crack. In the Mazda Road to Indy, I would not be racing here today if it wasn't for the Mazda Scholarship and the Mazda Road to Indy. So really, there's nothing like it in the world, and that's why it brings the best drivers here.
All right, and then Anthony, finally, we're getting ready to go here. Less than 2 minutes till we throw things over. But you got a lot of family here all the way from Australia. We're sure there's a lot of folks watching back home on Road to Indy TV as well as IndyCar's race control website. Do you got anything to say to your friends and family?
I hope you enjoy the racing that's about to happen, because I certainly will. And yeah, hope for the best. Thanks, guys, for watching.
All right, that's Anthony Martin. He starts second in the Soul Red number 8 Pro Mazda entry. And again, the Soul Red cars that you see on track here this weekend, that lets you know that they are recipients of a Mazda scholarship check. In Anthony Martin, your champion in USF 2000 in 2016, and he's gunning for the Pro Mazda championship here in 2017. But as we talked to just before Anthony, Victor Franzoni, the young Brazilian racing for Uncos Racing, he started the year in USF 2000. Didn't even know if he'd have the money to finish the year. And now he sits here with just 2 races left on the verge of winning a scholarship check to put him at the top level of the Mazda Road to Indy in 2018. Folks, we're getting ready to go racing down here on pit lane. It is the Pro Mazda Watkins Glen Grand Prix presented by Cooper Tires. There's your championship rivals, Victor Franzoni, Anthony Martin. 3 points separate them. Let's get ready to meet the rest of today's starting grid.
Thank you so much, Tony. We're getting set to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Our first race of this Soul Red finale, the last event on the 2017 schedule of the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. My name's Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy. Pleased to be here at Watkins Glen International. We'll give you the play-by-play of the events as they roll out here throughout this weekend. But as Tony said, we have championships on the line. Doubleheader weekend for drivers in this Pro Mazda Championship, so 2 races to see who will be crowned the champion. USF 2000 and Indy Lights both with just single races, and we will know who the USF 2000 champion is later on today. Let's give you the grid here right now of the drivers here in the Pro Mazda event, the first of 2 races, starting on row number 7 in the number 83 machine for Fat Boy Racing. It's Charles Finelli. Finelli starting number 83 in 13th. Moving now to row number 6, starting on the outside, driver has already won the National Class Championship for the year. Brendan Puderbach in the Fat Boy Racing number 31, starting in the 12th position. Inside of Puderbach, starting in 11th in the Title Boxing Gym, World Speed Motorsports number 13 out of Texas, it's Bobby Eberly. Eberly starting in 11th. Moving into the top 10 now, starting on the outside. Good to see this driver back with us. Missed a couple of races, but back here at Watkins Glen International. Rookie in the series here in Pro Mazda in the number 3, it's Matt Machiko. Machiko starting in the 10th position. Inside of that row, in row number 5, P9 in the grid, 60 years of age. This guy is quick, very fast at the Gateway Motorsports Park Oval. We ran last weekend. Jeff Green in the number 60 for Uncos Racing, the rookie, starting in the 9th position. Moving now to row number 4, starting on the outside of that row, P8 for JDC Motorsports, a rookie driver, Chris Wright in the number 12. Wright starting in the 8th spot. Alongside him, a young driver we've watched come up through the karting ranks, making his debut here in the Mazda Road to Indy, out of Idaho, running for World Speed Motorsports. It's Stingray Robb in the number 14. Robb, a rookie, starting in the 7th position. Up to row number 3, and it's all yellow and black Team Pelfrey. Driver making his Pro Mazda debut here this weekend. Second-year driver in the USF 2000 championship program. In fact, last year's Rookie of the Year in USF 2000, dipping his toes in the waters of Pro Mazda here at Watkins Glen from New York, in the Team Pelfrey number 84, Robert McGinnis starting in the 6th spot. Alongside Robert McGinnis, teammate at Team Pelfrey, those yellow and black cars, so easy to pick out on the racetrack. From Russia, starting in the 5th position in number 80, a veteran of USF 2000, now into his first year here in Pro Mazda, Nikita Listoshkin will cap off the season in the number 80, starting in the 5th spot. Again, 2 races this weekend for Pro Mazda. Moving now to row number 2, again, 2 more of the Team Pelfrey cars, those yellow and black machines, starting on the outside in the number 82 out of California, TJ Fisher. Fisher in the 82 starting 4th, while on the inside coming from Brazil, fresh off a podium finish at Gateway Motorsports Park last weekend in the number 81, Carlos Cunha starting in the 3rd spot. Quickest driver of the 4 Team Pelfrey pilots here this weekend. 13 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, and these are the drivers who have locked horns throughout this entire season, back to back and forth on wins. Franzoni coming off a victory at Gateway. Anthony Martin won 2 of 3 at Mid-Ohio. Starting on the outside in the Cape Motorsports Mazda Scholarship Soul Red number 8 machine. Again, the reigning USF 2000 champion, trying to go back-to-back on championships. Anthony Martin out of Australia, the rookie in the number 8, starting in the 2nd position. But the driver who had the speed in qualifying to get it done and get that P1 position to get things underway from Brazil. Veteran driver in the Mazda Road to Indy. Race wins in USF 2000. In fact, he won on the streets of Toronto last year. Made the move up here to Pro Mazda this year with the help of Jeff Green and Uncos Racing. Currently leading by 3 points, having won the bonus point for qualifying on the pole position in the number 23 for Uncos Racing, Victor Franzoni. Franzoni, your point leader, starting on the pole. So it'll be Franzoni and Martin on row 1, Cunha and Fisher row 2, Lostoshkin and McGinnis row 3, Robb and Wright on row 4, Green and Machiko on row 5, Eberle and Puderbach on row 6, and Finelli on row number 7. Final 2 races for this Pro Mazda chassis and this Mazda rotary Renesis power plant, a brand new Tatis-built PM18, set to debut in 2018 in a brand new MZR 2-liter power plant built by Elite Racing Engines as well. So it'll be a brand new formula when we get things rolling here for 2018. So the swan song, the final weekend for the current formula. Cooper Tire girls are going to be down here with me on pit lane to get things underway. They will give the command to fire these rotary Mazda Renesis power plants. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 13 drivers who are ready to go racing, and of course the first of 2 events here in Pro Mazda. This doubleheader will crown the champion. $790,000 up for grabs. The scholarship to run in Indy Lights will go to the champion. And ladies and gentlemen, they have 2 races to decide it. We are set to go. The Cooper Tire girls are joining me here at pit lane, and let's get things underway.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
Engines now fired. Up in the booth, getting ready to rock with me is Mr. Michael Young. I'll head back to the booth. We got racing to go in Pro Mazda.
And we welcome you race fans to this beautiful course, the Watkins Glen International Raceway, as we get set for the penultimate race in this 2017 Pro Mazda Championship. 3 points separate points leader Victor Franzoni and Anthony Martin. Down to the wire, the field remained on pit lane. A beautiful day, expecting sunshine for the remainder of the day. And again, we welcome everyone to Watkins Glen International. The penultimate to the season finale. The field making their way off of pit lane. We will see the green flag. Expecting green, first time by. And the championship contenders there on the front row. Victor Franzoni, the pole sitter. Qualifying lap, minute 42, 43.76. The driver second in the championship points. Anthony Martin qualified about 0.8 of a second slower. 143, 24.97. So certainly Victor Franzoni. And that story, the driver from the very beginning of the season, not knowing if he'd have a ride week in, week out, and anytime he would get a start. A fantastic finish, has made the best of every opportunity. So the field making their way through turn number 2, now through turn number 3. We'll cut them loose. There will be 6 rows, and then the 7th row, Charles Finelli will start by himself. Run you through the field again. Franzoni, Martin in row 1. Cunha, Fisher, the Pelfrey drivers in row 2. Lostoshkin and McGinnis in row 3. The other back half of that Pelfrey lineup, Stingray Robb and Chris Wright in row 4. Jeff Green, Matt Machiko in row 5. Bobby Eberle, Brendan Puderbaugh there in row 6. And as we said, row 7 made up of the solo car, Charles Finelli. The Pro Mazda Watkins Glen Grand Prix presented by Cooper Tire. Round 11 of 12. Through the bus stop, the field goes. Course turn 1, turn 2, key to this race. We will go green this time by the Mazda pace car, bringing the field through. There again, you see the starting lineup. The field will begin forming those 7 rows. We'll throw the green and settle this championship. 3 points again separating points leader Victor Franzoni from Anthony Martin. Martin has been the points leader most of this 2017 campaign. Martin, the young Australian, Kalgoorlie, Australia, resides in Perth, drives for Cape Motorsports. Of course, Victor Franzoni, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Uncos Racing. Field making their way through the final few turns. Will cut them loose and settle this championship. Through the heel they go. This should be a thrilling round number 11 with our 2 points contenders sitting on the front row. The championship to be settled. Pace car makes its way off the course and will allow Victor Franzoni to make his way down into these final portions of the circuit, down into turn number 1. The race will go green. Fingers crossed the field will get through cleanly. And it's time to settle a championship. The 2017 Pro Mazda Championship. Here comes the field. Victor Franzoni will have the line down into turn number 1. We'll see how Anthony Martin fares. Cunha Fisher right there, the Pelfrey drivers in row 2. Await the flag stand. Looking for green, this time by the penultimate race in the 2017 Pro Mazda Championship. Green flag is out. And Nikita Listoshkin takes a good look down to the inside, takes it 3 wide. Field cleanly through turn number 1. Nice move for Nikita Listoshkin down into turn number 1. Field now racing up through turn number 2. The bus stop, and you see Anthony Martin right there on the rear wing of Victor Franzoni. Martin starting to look to the outside. Our next shot, Martin trying to make the pass. Down to the bus stop they go. Victor Franzoni, Anthony Martin side by side, and Anthony Martin will get the lead. Move Anthony Martin to P1, Victor Franzoni to P2, and Anthony Martin checking out. Down through the chute now they will come, and into the toe portion of the track through the chute there in turn number 6. Wow, what a great pass by Anthony Martin. Drag racing his way down to the bus stop, now a 5-car length advantage over Victor Franzoni. So through the bottom portion of the course they go. And for Anthony Martin, made that move down out of the exit of turn number 3. Drag race with Victor Franzoni. Through the heel now, and we will complete lap number 1. There you see the advantage. Anthony Martin over Victor Franzoni. Rob Howden, the voice of this Mazda Road to Indy program, joining us in the public address booth. You missed quite a pass. Anthony Martin got around Victor Franzoni at the exit of turn number 3. Drag race down into the bus stop. Great pass.
Wow, we beat them around the track in the golf cart to get here to the start-finish line, but of course I wasn't able to get the start. Thank you, Michael, for being here. I really appreciate it, but wow, what an amazing effort for Anthony Martin. He knows it. He comes into this race 3 points behind. Needed to have a finish. He needs to get this race win if he wants to secure this championship. His parents are here. His family's all flown over from Australia. His brother came from the UK. This is a pressure-packed weekend for Anthony Martin. He knows how to win a championship. Went head-to-head with his teammate Parker Thompson last year and came out on top. He needs this to keep his career going.
Interesting moment there for Nikita Listoshkin. Back into that car, got a little upset as she made her way down through turn number 1. Some battling further back in the field. But,
that's Eberle and Chris Wright and Matt Machiko. As Chris Wright, the blue and white number 12 for JDC, trying to go to the inside of Machiko coming up through the S. It's a dangerous place to try to make a move to the inside. Martin, impressive, as Michael said, really got aggressive coming up to the bus stop, and I think in his mind he said, on cold tires, I need to get this done. If Franzoni gets out in front of me, I could be in trouble, because really one of the issues, one of the things we've been talking about, the talking point is at Road America, Franzoni was so quick, and you can kind of compare Road America to a certain extent to Watkins Glen, the longer straightaways, some of the high commitment corners, the carousel. Franzoni was so good here, you'd have to expect he's going to be strong here at Watkins Glen as well.
It looks like Franzoni's starting to pick up the pace just a little bit. Nice battle further back. It's Robert McGinnis and Nikita Listoshkin. That is the battle for that 4th position.
It's interesting to watch the Team Pelfrey drivers. You know, you always want to win a race, but if you can't win the race, you want to be the fastest guy on your
we had
team.
trouble further back in the field. I think that was that battle. It was McGinnis and Listoshkin.
Turn 9. That's turn 9, Michael, coming up out of the boot, as you said. So contact between drivers coming out of the boot. Someone was totally sideways. We're waiting to hear if we'll go full course yellow. No, just local yellow right now for the 84 of that is Robert McGinnis.
And now
no,
full course yellow.
Now we go full course. That was Robert McGinnis. That was that battle, as you said, between he and Fisher, I believe.
No, it was he. Yeah, it was he. Yeah, it was he and T.J. Fisher,
Yep.
and then Listoshkin was back a little bit further. I misspoke and said that was Nikita Listoshkin, but they were battling down in that portion of the track, and I don't know if McGinnis just lost it, but you could see that smoke in the back of the pack there.
And that's McGinnis and Listoshkin together. They're both falling to the tail of the field. They're stuck over there in turn number 9. That's the exit of the boot. And one of the things about coming out of the boot, Michael, a lot of the corners here at Watkins Glen are banked in your favor. As you crest out of there, it's essentially off camber. It's banked the other way, setting up for the drivers to come out of the carousel, the NASCAR drivers, and work their way over to what we call turn number 10. You come over that hill, and if you're not set up right and the car's a little loose, it can go around on you. And again, we're still essentially colder tires. Temperatures, yes, have come up quite a bit than they were this morning, but easy to make a mistake up there at the top of the hill.
So it was an interesting set of circumstance. We saw the two Team Pelfrey cars battling there. Cunha checked out, and then it was McGinnis, and I think Nikita Listoshkin just found herself caught up in that mess as the two cars went around.
Tough one for McGinnis. He's trying to do double duty here this weekend. He's running USF 2000 and making his Pro Mazda debut again. The final race actually for this Pro Formula Mazda car. The final race weekend for the engine package as well, the Mazda Rotary. But McGinnis jumping in to try to get a feel for it. It's still same horsepower, same kind of grip levels, aerodynamic levels. It'll be a different transition to the new PM18 next year, but an opportunity for him at the end of the season, not in the championship chase in USF 2000, to kind of start that education moving forward. But that's not what you want to see. You want to see a guy get a chance to run the entire race.
So we saw that issue with the smoke, and I doubt we'll have an opportunity to see a replay of that incident to see exactly what happened. We just saw the incident unfold. Again, a full course caution.
Let's see what happens when they come out. They're obviously going to come out of the boot here right now. Maybe we'll get a shot of them coming around through turn 10. This is coming up the hill out of turn 10 here. And again, you'll see as they get up to the top, that's when they'll transition, coming through that left-hand sweep. That's when you transition onto the other part of the racetrack. Yeah, it's too far away for us to see, but the Hamaltra safety crew and the wreckers are there for sure. Always tough, though, Michael, too, a couple of teammates. You know, you're going to have to roll back into the Team Pelfrey hauler and ask what happened. What happened on lap number 1. Now, it could be as easy as one driver looping, coming around, and the other driver having nowhere to go. Being told both drivers will be out of the race, both McGinnis and Listoshkin. It could be contact, but again, it could have just been one driver looping it around, and you're done. That happens.
And that's a shot back to turn number 9, coming up out of the boot.
So
from turn number 10 there, but as you said, it's hard to say. Just saw the smoke. Who knows what really happened?
We don't want to lay any blame, of course, at this point. Now, the interesting thing is Martin was able to get by Franzoni. What a great! I wish I was able to see it. You said it was a great move around the outside going into the bus stop. He was pulling away a little bit, but it seems like Franzoni was kind of dialing things in as well. So now what does this do? Does this put it on to Franzoni to get that run down to the bus stop?
Well, that was the interesting point. I think we were the moment right before this incident happened, it looked like Franzoni was starting to close back in on Anthony Martin. Then the melee with the Pelfrey cars happened. But Anthony Martin with a power move out of turn number 4, drag racing down to the bus stop, and got alongside Victor Franzoni. He's just got a great run out of turns 3 and 4. And once he got alongside, just made that pass. Franzoni allowed Martin to get around him there. Didn't want to do any battling going in that bus stop. That's a really tough portion of this track, and you don't want to find yourself going in side by side into the bus stop.
The bottom line is they were separated by 3 points coming into this race. You know what? You got me. You got a better run. Maybe he spun the wheels a little bit, didn't quite hit the mark, and he was able to get by, or just use the draft. Simply use the draft to get by him. I'll come back the next lap. And that's the veteran move by a guy like Franzoni, who's got 3 years in USF 2000. He's been a race winner almost every year. He ran the program, won on the streets of Toronto last year. Here's a guy that understands that, yeah, I don't need to lead the first lap. If he's got me, he's got me. But it also, I think, tells a little story about the pressure of the championship. Anthony Martin down by 3 points, knowing that Franzoni qualified on pole quicker by a couple of tenths of a second. Wow, I got to go to the front. I got to get there now.
And we spent a lot of time with Anthony Martin this year. You know, the championship, he's been in contention been up front all year, and just one of those situations where, you know, Victor Franzoni kept knocking at the door, and no matter who wins this championship, both of those drivers have had amazing seasons. And to see Victor Franzoni put together what he has put together, not knowing where he was going to be at the beginning of this season, and for Anthony Martin just to come in and the success that young driver has had coming out of USF 2000, it's just great.
You look at both of the storylines. Franzoni is a guy that doesn't have any money. He and his father, they have a stock car they race back, road racing stock car they have in Brazil that they build themselves. This is a father-son duo that just love motorsports. Mom's in there, they love it as well, but they've been able to put together just enough money and backing for him to be able to come and run in the USF 2000 program, and well liked in the paddock. Everybody thinks there's so much talent in this Victor Franzoni, and I would agree. A great young personality as well. He's shown the ability to win races. Early in his career, he made some mistakes, but here's a kid that, again, just trying to make this happen. He was going to be able to run, I believe, with Arms Up Motorsports, was going to put him in a USF 2000 car. They were going to put him in the new USF 17, that new car, to make sure they could get the right data they wanted. And, knowing Victor would be able to help set the car up for their other drivers, Devin Wojcik and Bruno Tomaselli. That was the plan. A week ahead of the opener in the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, when Jeff Green decided he wanted to run the Pro Mazda Championship, Uncos Racing got brought back in. They were going to sell their cars. They weren't even going to run the program this year. Uncos Racing, we turn around and all of a sudden, Jeff Green's in. I got to have a really good teammate. What can we get? Let's get Victor there. How much budget does he have? They were able to put it together where the kid goes from running USF 2000 to Pro Mazda in a matter of 3 days. He was at a karting event working on somebody else's karts in New Orleans and heard about it. Was told, hey, this is what we're going to go do. And what a story.
Well, we see one of the Pelfrey cars on a hook. Hard to tell which of the cars or what kind of damage. Like
front and rear wing.
Yeah.
So let's go to the other storyline. Then you got Anthony Martin, a young driver, exactly the same thing. Not a lot of family money. He did a lot of great racing in Formula Ford, in Formula 1600 down in Australia. Was able to get the money together to come run here, to run in the USF 2000 program. Hooked up with John Comiskey Racing for his rookie year, and wow,
look at that damage.
That's a lot of damage. Yeah. You're right. Impressive rookie year in USF 2000 with John Comiskey Racing for Anthony Martin. Stellar, like top 5 every race kind of thing. Ended up winning Rookie of the Year. Comes back with Cape Motorsports last year, and he battled it out with his teammate Parker Thompson. 2 incredibly great drivers went back and forth, and in the end, a better finishing run for Anthony Martin gives him the championship and, of course, the scholarship to move on. But again, this is a guy like Spencer Piggott that needs these scholarships to be able to continue on. He simply does not have the funding he needs to be able to work his way to Indy Lights and through to the Verizon IndyCar Series. So both Victor and Anthony, great stories. Both drivers doing whatever they can to potentially have the chance to run in Indy Lights.
Yeah, that front right.
That's McGinnis's car coming in.
That's a lot of damage on that car. He hit that Armco hard.
Looks like almost the entire right side of the car, I think. Yep. Front and rear. Tough one for Robert McGinnis.
Going green this time by as the point championship stands right now, a 2-point advantage for Anthony Martin over Victor Franzoni. You talked about Parker Thompson, the USF 2000 driver, a little bit earlier, and I was out and about the beautiful Watkins Glen International facilities trying to find something to eat. And Parker got in front of me in line, or he was going up to line, and I was thinking to myself, what does a young driver eat to stay in the shape that Parker Thompson's in? He went right for the double cheeseburger.
Well, why wouldn't you?
It might not have been double. I might have added a little. It might have been a single burger, but nonetheless. And there we see the Nikita Listoshkin car, right side damage. Wow. Both of those cars, just nearly identical damage.
Well, right side, coming up over the hill like that, you got to think maybe they both got together and both got into the wall on the right side, nosed it in. Because that, as we say, when you come over the hill on turn number 9, you crest over, and we saw a lot of the Verizon IndyCar Series drivers out on the rubbles, out on to the grass. I think Elio Castroneves touched the wall yesterday coming through. They just grazed the wall coming through. It's a tough corner because you're trying to carry so much speed through that corner because it's flat out through turn number 10. It's an important part of the racetrack, and if you carry enough speed, maybe they got off together, maybe just a little touch. They both got into the right side of the car.
And it was those two running together because Cunha and Fisher had checked out from that battle. Cunha had a better advantage over Fisher. It was indeed the two cars of Nikita Listoshkin and Robert McGinnis.
While we have the time, let's go back to the Lunch of Champions, because obviously Parker Thompson, race winner in USF 2000 last year. You work out, you're on the bike, you're doing the fitness, you're doing your hand-eye coordination, you're making sure you got the right electrolytes. They'll obviously have to balance off a double cheeseburger,
Right.
which I think is fantastic.
It might have been a single. I might have.
You're embellishing the story?
Embellished the story just a little bit.
Well, he's not a big kid either.
No, he's not.
He's
Not
like
at all.
5'5", maybe.
Right.
Yeah, right. So maybe
cheese fries.
Maybe it was a junior burger.
Maybe.
No?
No, I don't think so. I left after that. He probably got like after I walked away is when he ordered the cheeseburger.
think so?
I think that was probably over here when he ordered there.
Well, you know what? I think if you're disciplined everywhere else, every once in a while, I think it's called a cheat meal. You're allowed to have a cheat meal.
Is that how
They call it a cheat meal, I believe. Yeah.
It's funny. I have those nearly every day of my life.
So is there a good meal in the middle of all your cheat meals? No, never.
Not at all.
Drivers coming out of turn number 9 being told we will go green this time by. Lights are off on that Mazda pace car. And again, this is Anthony Martin's opportunity to try to jet away once again. Now, I'll tell you, Franzoni's right there, but look at Carlos Cunha, the young Brazilian, on the podium at Gateway just a week ago. He's had a couple of really good runs. He is right there with Franzoni. He's like, you're not getting away from me. TJ Fisher hanging back a little bit. Here we go, out of the last corner, turn 11. Green, green, green. Back at it in Pro Mazda. They'll work their way down. Nice little gap. Good jump for Anthony Martin. He will hold off Franzoni into turn number 1. But again, Michael, as you said it, you don't really need to hold a guy off in turn number 1 if you got that run out of that corner. Franzoni trying to tuck up in through the S's. They are too wide. Oh, 2 by 2 by 2.
I don't know what happened to TJ Fisher. Just a horrible restart. Drop back to the 7th position. Now trying to regain those positions. Too wide back into turn number 3.
Wow, they are indeed too wide. Fisher's having some trouble. He fell back, but they're actually all eating up. Even Bobby Eberle going to the inside of Fisher. There could be trouble with Fisher's car. Franzoni right on the gearbox of Martin as they work their way through the bus stop and the team penalty.
Whoa, contact.
Contact coming through the first part of the S. That was, I believe, Fisher getting together potentially with Bobby Eberle or Jeff Green. Something's wrong with Eberle. You got to think a tire potentially going down, or remember, he was right behind them as they had the incident coming over the top of the hill, so potentially, I don't know, punctured a tire maybe, but he's definitely falling back. There's the lead trio coming through the toe of the boot.
Yeah, you saw that contact, that part of the wing flew off that TJ Fisher car. He'll limp that back to pit lane, but damage as we have a battle for the lead.
That's actually a great battle on
for
screen.
The back. Yep.
That's for 4th and 5th. That's Matt Machiko in the white number 3 and Stingray Robb in the 14. That's for 4th and 5th. Good battle there. Machiko's got it there up to the heel of the boot now. Look at Stingray Robb trying to roll the outside. Willie, yeah, he gets him. Up to the top of the hill to turn number 9. Book it. Stingray Robb through to take over 4th.
Nice crossover move there by Stingray Robb. And a nice job by Carlos Cunha hanging with our front trio or duo of Anthony Martin and Victor Franzoni. Martin, Franzoni, Cunha, the top 3 making their way down the front straightaway, completing lap number 6.
Contact over the bus stop was actually between TJ Fisher and Chris Wright in the number 12, getting a confirmation that it was Wright, the JDC Motorsports machine. And that looked to me, based on the result of Fisher going off to the right, that they just tried to go too wide through the corner, and Fisher was on the outside, essentially inside for the first corner, but Wright wasn't going to give it up when they came back through the left-hander.
You know, if Fisher's running 4th, he dropped back on the start. I'm not sure what was wrong with that car, so he's just trying to hang on and not lose any more positions. And the last place you want to hang on to positions is the bus stop. You're not going to make that happen.
With the speed that he's shown all weekend so far in the practice sessions and the qualifying sessions, I'm really surprised that he struggled on the restart like that. He was hanging back a little bit at the start. He wasn't right there with Cunha when we went back to the green. That leads me to believe, I don't know, maybe an engine misfire or something, because there's no sense for him to hang back like he would. He would have wanted to be right on the gearbox of Cunha. So drivers kind of settling in now, as Michael had said. We are working lap number 7.
It's a great battle there.
Wow, this is going to be a good fight, you know. And a couple of great fights. The fight for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Then that great fight between the 2 rookies for 4th and 5th. Stingray Robb in the Red Apple World Speed Motorsports number 14, and Matt Machiko in that white number 3 machine.
So Machiko got back around Robb, and now Robb trying to get on the attack as they make their way through that portion of the course and up through the toe of the boot.
Bobby Eberle and Chris Wright not that far back either. I think they're only back by maybe a second. Look at that. There's a good fight there as well. That's Chris Wright and Bobby Eberle. Wright able to get to the inside up there in turn number 8. Again, turn 9. Machiko around the outside of Stingray Robb. Wow. Good fight just inside and outside the top 5 here.
Now, Robb and Machiko have been trading that 4th position about every other turn or so.
About 3 car lengths as they come across start finish for your leaders, Anthony Martin and Victor Franzoni. And Michael, we've talked all season about how they've gone back and forth. You know, Victor will win a race, he'll take the point lead. Then Martin will come back and take the point lead. Well, they came into Mid-Ohio, and it was Victor with the point lead. Well, Martin won. He takes the point lead in race 1. It was a triple header. Then Franzoni wins race 2, takes the point lead. Martin takes it back. And then they go to Gateway, and who wins? Franzoni takes it back. Well, comes in here with a 2-point lead, puts the car on the pole, gets a 3-point lead, bonus point. If they run as they are now, it will be a 2-point sway back to Martin. You'd be kidding me.
Look at this battle. Stingray Rob and Machiko going down into the bus stop. Careful, gentlemen. It's going to get very narrow here in a hurry. And Machiko able to hold off as they nearly go in side by side.
We've watched this all weekend, Michael, coming through here. That those drivers, as they get over the rumbles, the right side and the left side, always in the middle of the bus stop before they transition. The car does that little tank slapper where they're kind of getting a hold of it again. Look at Stingray Rob looking to the inside, coming down the hill. Wow, into the boot. Rob getting very aggressive on Machiko. What a great battle. Excellent to have Machiko back with us. He missed a couple of races, but Stingray Rob's going to try the outside of the toe. Why not? They're still side by side coming up the hill. Look at this. Stingray Rob tried an outside move, and he'll have to do it again over in the heel if he wants to make it. And this has allowed both Chris Wright and Bobby Eberle, and around the outside he goes.
That's a nice pass down to the heel by Stingray Rob back around Machiko.
2 corners. How can you do that? He ran the outside of the toe, ran the outside of the heel, and he leads and takes a position up to turn number 9. A kid who's really stepped it up. Mid-Ohio was kind of, I think, the turning point. That was a breakout race for him in race number 3. He was turning lap times quicker than the drivers of Team Pelfrey at the end of that Mid-Ohio race. What a tremendous run right now for Stingray Rob. Up front, though, Martin and Franzoni locked together. Franzoni maybe a length back right on the gearbox.
He's
Here
right
we
on.
go. Big run down the straightaway. They'll come out of the S's in that long run down. Franzoni's going to go to the outside. Franzoni gets a great run. 10 minutes to go in this race. It'll be a timed race. They'll come down into the corner. Not enough. No. I'll tell you, Martin must be just looking to the left, saying, okay, I got enough. I got enough. He's not quite by me. And then roll the center. Get to the apex first.
And it was an interesting, go back to that Stingray Rob pass, that you're not gaining a lot of momentum coming out of the TOA there. So for him to make that pass, that was a pretty strong move and a stout move as we got another opportunity for Franzoni trying to get around Anthony Martin in the toe.
One thing about the toe, when you get in there, you're immediately going back up the hill, so that helps the momentum of not maybe, it's not like it's an off-camber corner where you're going to push off. You come around there, you're immediately pushed back up, and it kind of gives you, I think, that the pressure on the front you need to hold the car from washing out on you. I talked to Eric Thielens a bit about that. He did our lap around for IndyCar Radio, just kind of walking us through this racetrack, and that's one of the things he said about the toe. If you get in there, even if you're on the outside, it really will give you that front pressure you need to keep the turn.
I thought it was interesting. Had an opportunity to talk with Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, and Joseph Newgarden. We did a question and answer yesterday for the fans, and Graham said, and James actually confirmed it. He's like, you're on the edge at every corner. It's not like you have a couple of corners where you relax a little bit and regain. Every corner at this place, you're on the ragged edge.
And if you sit back and we're to go through each corner and talk about it, the downhill turn 1, hard braking downhill, you're into the banking, but then you got the rumbles there, and then you come up through the S's. What do you say about the S's? It's just you got to hit every apex, every mark, because you're flat out all the way through there. Once you get to kind of the top, you've got the fencing on top of you. You feel like you're driving through a tunnel. Then down that straightaway where all you're doing right now is trying to set to hold it off. Franzoni going to make a move to the outside. Martin's going to tuck to the inside again. He's trying not to give it up. Franzoni on the outside again, not enough. Franzoni continues to push. They go back and forth. Will this come down to the main event tomorrow morning, 7:55 in the morning? They'll be drinking their coffee. They'll be up early because we could be crowning the champion tomorrow morning when they go racing just before 8 o'clock. And you never know what tomorrow's going to be like, but you do know it's going to be chilly, and these cars will be dancing all over the place. Franzoni right on the gearbox. They come down to the toe. He'll try the outside coming through the toe of the boot. Can he hold it? Not quite, and Martin's going to make sure he holds him off to the outside, but he's up to the side of him right now, right up to the side pod.
Boy, Anthony Martin will have the advantage going into the heel of the boot. They're still side-by-side. Little brake smoke there from Victor Franzoni.
Oh, Franzoni goes off wide because Martin pushes him, does not give him the exit. Here comes Cunha trying to come around. That did not surprise me. Victor was trying to hold the outside there, and Martin's got the apex, and he essentially owns the exit at that point as well, and he pushed out a little wide. Was not going to give Victor any opportunity. Remember, they went side by side at Gateway and actually bumped a little bit at Gateway, that high speed oval we were at last weekend.
I was told by an insider that they had the drivers' meeting and a little gamesmanship in the drivers' meeting. They were asking, one driver asked whether or not the blocking that's been happening all year between each other was going to continue. The other guy asked about whether the contact they've had many times was that going to continue into the finale weekend. Let's just put it this way. There's no love lost between these two drivers. I'm hoping they continue to move forward because this will be a rivalry. Aussie versus Brazilian that could happen for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years.
As you see, Franzoni already back to the rear wing of Anthony Martin. They exit turn number 4. They're now down into the bus stop. Martin will own that piece of real estate again. Back to the bus stop. Now they'll go down through the north end of this course, down to the chute, and they'll make their way down to the boot portion. But I'll tell you right now, if he can make it stick, Victor Franzoni will work these final few corners down here in the boot. That's, I think, the place where he's really started to shine these last couple of laps.
He's good coming into the boot, as you said, that downhill kind of left-hander. Kind of falls off a little bit coming through there. You got to make sure you don't go off the racetrack, then down into that toe of the boot. And he's been really good, as you said. Again, maybe a length and a half back, but settling in. 5.5 minutes remaining in this race. And again, all this is going to do is set things up for tomorrow. We'll try to get fast laps of the race for you. Obviously, at this point, Anthony Martin's done one good thing. It's a bonus point for leading the most laps of the race. He's led 10 laps so far. There's only 5 minutes to go, so we have maybe three laps to go in this race. So he's already got that bonus point. That's not one that Victor's going to be able to take. Fast lap of the race, I don't think we have that yet. I'm not quite sure who fast lap of the race is at this point. We'll try to find that out for you because that is another bonus point as well. But the big one is 30 points for the race win. Franzoni continues to run there in the draft. Carlos Cunha not far back.
Cunha's done a good job in this race as well, just ready to pounce in case there's contact between the two leaders. Carlos Cunha actually tried to take advantage of Franzoni there in the bus stop last time by, or I should say down in the heel of the boot when Franzoni had those issues. Oh, we got to move again. Here he goes.
Yeah, Victor's going to try it earlier, and he gets it. He gets out of the S's, the final part of the S's side by side. Is he? Oh, he's got a huge run. He's already ahead by a bit of a nose. They're going to come in. This is going to be it here. This could get aggressive coming in. Franzoni's got it. Franzoni takes the lead over in the bus stop. Great move. He just started it earlier so he could get a better run down into the bus stop. He waited until they got up onto the straight. This time rolled the dice a bit because you want to try it further back like that into the S's. That's when you start getting worried.
Yeah, it was back in 3. He made that move. That's the earliest we've seen him do. That was the other portion of this course that he's really strong. So we'll see now if Anthony Martin can return the favor.
No.
Down in the toe, and boy, Franzoni, as you said, he has checked out about 4 or 5 car lengths already.
Man, Franzoni's already bolted to probably 3 or 4 car lengths here, already out and away. Let's see what he can do here. Now we'll see how this flip-flops the points. As we said, Martin has led the most laps. That is a great bonus point to get. Franzoni already got the bonus point for pole position, but let's keep an eye out right now whether or not Franzoni, now open by himself, could steal away the fast lap of the race. That's going to be crucial, because if he can get that fast lap, that could get the job done. Look at him bolting away right now. I would not be surprised to see fast lap get thrown out here soon by Franzoni. He's going to need it because we got 3.5 minutes remaining, less than 3.5. Fast lap, Victor Franzoni. 143.726. New fast lap for Franzoni. We'll see the white flag next time by, and he has just grabbed himself another bonus point. As it turns, now each driver will get a bonus point. So right now it says 319 to 311. It could be a 6 or a 7 point lead for Franzoni heading into the main event tomorrow, the final race tomorrow morning, and that is going to be a much more comfortable lead for Victor. Anthony did everything he could, Michael Young, to try to hold him off here in the final laps of this Pro Mazda Championship front end of the doubleheader, but you know what? I just think Victor kept sizing him up, figuring out what he could do, and then went a little early coming out of the S's, and that just made all the difference.
And that's the other portion of this course that he has been so good at. We see now the toe portion of the track down in the boot. That was the other place that he really got a nice run on Anthony Martin, but his big power move was early out of that turn 3, turn 4 complex through the S's right there, run down into the bus stop. And it was like he was shot out of a cannon the time that he made the pass on Anthony Martin. Just made that move, and once he was able to get around Anthony Martin, he's already the gap's already a 1 second advantage for Victor Franzoni over Anthony Martin as we get the white flag this time by.
He just simply has the pace right now. They've got that car dialed in. I had talked to Anthony before the race in the paddock, and he believed they had a really good race car. He liked his race pace, liked the way the car was. He's going to have to come back and do something tomorrow. Simply put, they got to do something to make that car quicker. They need to find some speed because Franzoni was over a second faster that last time by. Lays down the quick lap of the race. Let's see if he does it again. He does. 1:43.57. 43.57. 1.2 seconds faster that last lap ahead of Anthony Martin. Franzoni, a young driver who, when he first came to the USF 2000, we figured, let's see what he can do. He's going to have to impress because we know he doesn't have the budget. Well, he is getting the job done right now and is inching his way closer to potentially having an Indy Lights ride for next year with that Mazda scholarship.
And you talk about that scholarship. That is so key, especially for both of these drivers, Victor Franzoni, Anthony Martin. Whoever wins this championship, that will keep the career alive, keep that momentum going. They both really need the funding.
Well, and you know, you look at the fact that Spencer Piggott won the championship in Pro Mazda, came in and immediately won the championship in Indy Lights. The next year he's in the 500. He goes from running Pro Mazda to the Indianapolis 500 in 2 years. Santi Urruti almost did it last year. He came second in the championship. You always say there was some controversy behind that package, that result, the way things shook down. He almost went straight from Pro Mazda through Indy Lights with a race, with a championship win. Franzoni or Martin, both of those drivers, whoever wins could find themselves winning the Indy Lights championship.
And I think, just to your point, for all these fans out here at Watkins Glen International, this Mazda Road to Indy program, the names you're hearing now, there's no slouches running up in the front of you. We have so many talented young drivers. I can't wait for the next couple of years to get here just to find out who shakes out and who wins these championships because these drivers are that good.
On the final lap right now, here comes Victor Franzoni, ladies and gentlemen, out of turn number 10, out of turn number 11. Way to get the job done. What a battle it was. He will win back-to-back races. He won at Gateway, and Victor Franzoni will win here today at Watkins Glen. Franzoni and Uncos Racing with the victory. Anthony Martin in second. Carlos Cunha in third. Stingray Robb and Chris Wright battling it out for fourth and fifth. But Franzoni will take at least a 7-point advantage unofficially into Sunday's second end of the doubleheader. Franzoni, Martin, and Cunha, first, second, and third. Franzoni will be ecstatic with the win.